We are live for Week 14, game number 12, as the top-ranked Utah Utes are looking to go for the undefeated season. It would be our fourth undefeated regular season. The previous three undefeated regular seasons led us to a national championship victory. So this would be our fourth and our 17th year with the Utah Utes, 19 seasons overall coaching at the college level. And we got our rival at the end of the season. They came along with us from the Pac-12 when we did the Super Conference regrouping, shuffling, conference shuffling. They came with us, and it's always the final game of the regular season. Colorado and Utah set to go toe-to-toe off the top. We want to thank all the folks for joining us. Don't forget to give us a follow here on Twitch alongside on YouTube so you catch all the replays if you miss any of the action. And we're going to go on Twitter real quick and let the people know that we are live. If you have been following us on Twitter, as we always encourage folks to do, you would have known earlier today, way earlier today, that we were going live tonight. We had posted 8 hours ago on Twitter that we were going live at around 8 p.m. and here we are. We got some breaking news off the top. Camera zooms in to show Commanders inside stadium night before reveal. Look at this, the new Washington football team. So I'm gonna look this up. Commanders lights. It's every time we stream, we get big breaking news. It looks like maybe it's the team store or something like that. What are they zooming into? It's definitely something in the stadiums they're zooming into, but we got breaking news. I don't know if folks wanted to hear that or not. I'm looking at the video right now. It looks like it's in the team store. It's in the team store. The stadium was lit up, and there's like a helicopter cam, like a news camera, and they zoomed right into the word Commanders. So there you go. Washington, the football team, will now be known as the Commander. Oh, there's other leaks coming out. Okay. Look at this. We got pictures and logos. DC Commanders, Washington Commanders. They ain't keeping this under wraps at all. So there you go. The Washington Commanders looks to be the new name for the former Washington football team. So yeah, let's jump into it. We're gonna stream just this game, and then we have the conference championship next. Win or lose, we're going to the conference championship to play Texas. It's just a matter of if we are going to be undefeated, and Texas would be undefeated, which would put a 12-0 team against a 12-0 team in the conference championship, which, I mean, that has never happened. The closest we got was that we talked about the Michigan-Ohio State game from a couple years ago before the Big Ten had conference championships. So let's see, what helm are we gonna pick here? What kind of locked up there? So they got 3 to pick from. This Colorado. And they're going to go with the black. Okay. What jersey? I like the one that just has the Colorado really big across the chest. They got the name on the back. Yeah, so we'll go with that. And as for the pants, we'll just mix this up here. The 010 white era. Okay. I like it. What does the regular white look like? Oh, they don't even have a regular white. Okay. Or they're going to go all white. Let's just put them in all white here. There you go. They're going all white on the road, hoping to pull off the upset against our Utes. We always encourage folks to join us over on Patreon as well. If this game gets out of hand, as many of our games have been this season, we've had a lot of blowouts with this Utah football team, and we will go on Patreon and read off past scores from this rivalry, Utah and Colorado, compliments of TB Sports 27 over on Patreon. And you're getting a good look. Our defense still leading the way. Number 1 on offense, number 1 on defense for points. All up and down. We got a couple of visiting prospects here. Some more defensive tackles, which we love in Utah. We always get a bunch of sacks, so a couple injured players on the Colorado side of things. But the Colorado Buffaloes, they're going to be led by their starting quarterback. Daniel Maxwell will lead the way. He's a junior. And there you can see that there's no way we're missing the conference championship. We have won the Big 12 North for the second time in 3 years, and we will meet up with Texas in the Big 12 championship game. But it's a matter of, is it going to be number 1 versus number 2 in that showdown? But we got to get past Colorado here in the rivalry game. Then we'll play the Texas game at some point this week, and then this weekend it should be concluding. We'll do the college football playoff, whatever bowl game, and all that fun stuff. We would be the first 2-time college football playoff team if we manage to get back there. I've been playing, you guys joined us for my Arceus Legends playthrough when it came day 1. I've been progressing through that a little bit more, especially with the championship games this weekend. A lot of fans wearing white, considering that Colorado's wearing white, so I don't know how I feel about that. But we'll try to stream that again, give you guys another peek. I played a good amount of the game I've going forward during the AFC NFC championship, because there's just so many darn commercial breaks, so I tend to play the Switch a lot during the commercials, and we made some progress on the game, but we'll jump on and stream it again, and fun stuff like that. So let us know over on Patreon, become a super fan or a mega fan, and let us know what you guys want to see. So here we go. Getting the ball first, looking to complete the perfect season, 12-0. See if we can do a pitch to the outside, and that was a disaster. Bradford immediately hit by Cody Bailey and taken down. Bradford up over 1,000 yards. He's in Heisman consideration, mainly for his rushing touchdowns. He's got a boatload of rushing touchdowns. So 2nd and 15 under the lights, and it's cold as we're getting towards the latter half of the season. Cross dumps it off to Aaron Price, and Price is brought down. So that'll bring up a 3rd and long for the Utes. So already a tough situation here for our Utah squad on 3rd and 12. But you can't leave Zach Smith wide open, and that's exactly what they do. Smith tried to juke. He stepped out of bounds, but that was poor defense by the Colorado Buffaloes. They left our top wideout completely uncovered, and that's an easy 1st down for Andrew Cross and the Utah Utes. SMU picking up a close win against Rice, so as long as they win out, if they win the Conference USA, which actually they will. They'll finish, because we used to have conference championships for every single conference, but when we did the realignment and we moved the teams to Group of 4 and Power 6, they lost their conference championship. So that means that with that win at 10-2, SMU will clinch. They will be the first team to clinch a New Year's 6 bowl game. So there you go. SMU, we follow the same rules that regular college football does, and the top rated team of the Group of 4 automatically gets to go to a big time New Year's 6. Both years it's been Miami, Ohio out of the WAC, as Cross has to dance around and find Nick Odom for the 1st down. The first year is Miami, Ohio taking on Miami, and then in year 2, Miami, Ohio qualified for the college football playoff as the only undefeated team at 12-0. This year, the first time a team from Conference USA will be heading to the New Year's 6, so congratulations there to SMU. We took our Troy team, when we coached the Trojans, from Conference USA all the way up to the Big 12 back in the day. We're back in the Big 12 here with Utah. Utah and Colorado making the move as part of the 16-team expansion. Oh my goodness, it's going to be fumbled by Nick Odom. Recovered by Isaac Townstead. And that's a disaster. We have had very few fumbles this season. That was Nick Howell, number 1, big number 1, jarring that ball out from Nick Odom. So a blunder, which you don't want to see in these rivalry games. Any kind of little blunder or slip up, you know, anything can happen. So it's Daniel Maxwell, the junior, here at quarterback, and he will toss it short to Derek Ford for a gain of 5. So good coverage by our guys, and Maxwell just had to kind of look around, find his time. We're going to test the blitz right here. We're going to see what we can do against this squad. Going with the blitz. Texas, you see that score at the bottom of your screen? Texas and Houston tied. We beat Houston 87-0 earlier this year. So the fact that Texas is tied with them, we almost got them with the blitz. Harris couldn't make the tackle, and Justin McKinney getting the first down for the Buffaloes here. Well, let's not point and laugh at Texas just yet when we're kind of in the middle of our own battle here, just kicking off. Handoff to McKinney, and McKinney, plenty of speed on the outside. They're going to give him the first down. I thought we got him about a yard short, but not happening. Penn State at number 6, battling it out with Indiana, hoping for an opportunity at the college football playoff. They are the next highest ranked team. You would imagine that if they win the Big Ten, finish this one out with a Big Ten victory, and either USF or Fresno slips up ahead of them, then they would be sliding into that number 4 spot. But if not, I don't know, maybe a Sugar Bowl bid, maybe a Rose Bowl bid, and Ford catches it again. That's his second catch. And Ford, with the little shimmy shake, was able to get Steve Porter to fall back. It's not often this team is trailed. We could be looking that way right now if we don't put a stop to this big run here by the Buffaloes. Maxwell's just going to screen it out to Kenny Brown, and Brown's going to end up losing 4 yards on the play. That's Sean Hicks who made that tackle out of bounds, number 96 for the Utes. How you guys enjoying this Tuesday today? Happy Tuesday? All the hard-working guys and gals out there. Handoff to McKinney. Had plenty of room on the outside, and he kind of, I don't know, just kind of stutter-stepped. I think he thought he was going to cut from the inside and maybe go up the gap that was there. But it didn't work out for him. So there you go, 3rd and 14. Maxwell just short of the first down. Barry Hurd. And 4 for 4 for Maxwell. They are going to go for it. Look at this. They are going to go for it on 4th and 1. They got number 1 reeling. They want to get it, and McKinney's going to bounce to the outside. And Colorado will indeed pick up the first round. Can you believe that? I mean, this is a rivalry game for a reason, folks. Colorado tearing the clock down on this drive. Hand off to Brown, and it is a touchdown. Kenny Brown scoring for the Colorado Buffaloes. And they take the early lead here on rivalry weekend. 6-0. Rivalries. USF, they got the win, so they're going to remain undefeated. So they got just the Big East Championship ahead of them. Central Michigan knocking off Michigan State. They've had some big wins this year. Texas taking the lead over Houston early on in the 3rd quarter. North Texas and TCU, Nevada and Hawaii in a tight contest. Boise Getting past Cal over in the Pac-16. And we got some good blocking, and we got a great return by Newton. Newton is eventually going to get chased out of bounds, but a great return by Newton. Jason Newton. If we score quickly, though, we're sending a gas defense back out there. And I buried the lead, a rare touchdown drive that our defense has given up. I think only the 6th team that, oh my goodness, almost intercepted. It was knocked away by Stan Park, who was a freshman who probably should have had the INT. Instead, pass completed, Utah. Cross touchdown. Jason Newton had the big return. He caps it off, and that's a quick touchdown for the Utah Utes. Look at it there. Andrew Cross poised. Easy pitch and catch for Utah. Oh, man, that was almost blocked. Extra point does go through. Penn State in danger. They're trailing now. I do a lot of score watching on championship weekend. So, yeah, USF, they're right there, man. They, and I have to imagine, got to win the Big East. So far, the precedent has been set in the 2 college football playoff games that preceded the ones coming up here. This is only going to be our 3rd season. The precedent was set that you got to be a conference champion. It was kind of set in season 1 when, as that one was dumped off, and a fumble. But that one will roll out of bounds. Almost a similar play where Hicks laid out McKinney. But the precedent was set in the first season of the college football playoff when Wisconsin won the Big Ten, ranked number 13th at 10-2, and they jumped from 13 all the way to 2 via the committee because they were the conference champ. They were the conference champ with the best record. I guess they would have been 11-2 after winning the conference championship. So USF, even though they're undefeated, it's amazing. We could end the season with 4 undefeated teams. 3 of them by the time we get to the college football playoff, because we are going to play Texas. And Tate makes the grab, but he's tackled a few yards shy of the first down. A.J. Hill making the tackle, and Colorado this time, they're going to punt it away. They got the successful 4th down last time. That was a quick 3-and-out for Colorado. Almost felt like they had one more play, but nope, they don't. So Matt Ellis, the freshman punter, boots it away, and here comes Newton again, and Newton almost was able to find the opening to cut back inside. And here come the Utes back out onto the field. Tie game. They have yet to lead in this game. Rare for the Utah Utes to come this deep into a ball game, and I say this deep late in the first quarter. We're normally up by 3 or 4 touchdowns at this point. Draw play, Bill Bradford, and so far the Bill Bradford rushing attack has been non-existent. Andrew Cross has done his job. 6 for 6 so far, but nothing out of Bradford. Cross rolling out. And toss it back across the field, Zach Smith. And Cross is playing well today. Where Bradford is playing a little slow, it's been Andrew Cross, the Andrew Cross show so far early on. 1st and 10. We give to Bradford. There's heading to the outside. Bradford cuts inside. Best run of the day for Bill Bradford for 15. Total yards, 114 for the Utes, 87 for the Buffaloes. The handoff right up the middle to Bradford will be brought down by Jeremy Williams, and that's going to be the end of a competitive quarter number 1. We're in the middle of the 4th drive of the ball game. It's Utah football, number 1, 7, Colorado 7. And here we are to the second quarter. Don't you love it? No commercials. Just, Chuck, just push through it. Hand off to Bradford. Bradford to the outside, and there you go. There's a Heisman-type run from Bill Bradford. 17 yards and a touchdown, and the Utes take the first lead of the game. In prime time. We got to keep an eye on this Texas game. If Texas loses to Houston, and then we beat Texas in the Big 12 championship game, that would probably, I would dare say, knock Texas out of the college football playoff, as unbelievable as that seems. Because 2 losses, not winning a conference title, the only 2-loss team that's made the college football playoff so far has been Wisconsin, and they were a conference champion to do it. So we got to keep an eye out on Texas, which means it would be a big opportunity for Penn State right there. Again, if they finish the season with 2 losses and they win the Big Ten and Texas loses. But if Texas loses to Houston and then they beat us, that's going to make things really interesting, because then do we get in? Ultimately, I get to make the decision, but I'm going to be fair about it too. It depends on, it's going to be how close the game is. If the game's super close, I think the losing team gets in. We have to see how all the other games play out, but I think if it's a blowout, then I think the losing team is got to go, and you put a conference champion in. But it's going to be how it all plays out on the field, and that's going to be maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday. You guys have to tell me your excitement level for possible 12-0 versus 12-0 in the Big 12 championship. False start against the Buffaloes.
Still first down.
NC and Duke, big rivalry there. Wisconsin and Purdue. Here comes the blitz. Just barely getting rid of that one to Eugene Tate as Daniel Maxwell. I like even seeing these these new rivalries like Central Michigan and Michigan State, and we just saw Louisville down there playing Western Kentucky, a Kentucky rivalry, TCU and North Texas. Like, still getting the in-state rivalries, even though we've got the new lineup, new conference lineup. 3rd and 12, they give it to McKinney, and he's only getting it 4, so not a whole lot there. And Texas is going to get another score, so they're going to pull away from Houston for now. A bit of a scare for the Longhorns, especially considering this Cougars team that we put a absolute beat down on earlier this season. So 3rd down and 9. They're going to go for the halfback screen to McKinney. Does not work out for him. On the spot is James Kelly. And that is going to be another punt for the Colorado Buffaloes. See what kind of return we get here from Newton. Oh, Newton's got to get the speed. Oh, couldn't quite turn the corner fast enough. Still got a solid 14 yards, however, so we'll take that every time. Perfect game so far from Andrew Cross. Highest ranked recruit at quarterback in the history of the Utah program. And there's the first incomplete pass. Looking for Jermaine Cox. And it falls to the turf. 2nd and 10. Look at this balanced offense. 8 passes, 8 rushes. Full day here. This is the regular season finale, senior night here. And Zach Smith. I should try to point out all the seniors. First down. Another Utah first down. Zach Smith is a senior. Andrew Cross is not. He's hopefully got 2 more years with him, with us. Bill Bradford. This will be our final regular season home game. Second down and 7 for the Utes. Quick pass. Zach Smith breaking loose. Down just shy of the 30, about the 33. 32-yard line. He's having a big senior night. And Andrew Cross still remaining very, very well. He's had rough games this year, much like his sophomore year. He's played very well at times as well. Today is one of those games. Houston, they get 3 on the board. Was hoping for a touchdown. What do you guys think? Do we want the upset, or would we rather play Texas undefeated versus undefeated? I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool to see the upset. But that gives me a little bit of hope, seeing how Houston's roughing them up, that, you know, we can do this thing. Look at that. Another catch by Zach Smith. And now we are in range if we can punch it in. We've gotten a lot better at red zone scoring the last couple of weeks. That was something we really struggled with early on this season. But Bill Bradford, what's the NCAA record for rushing touchdowns? Bradford might be closing in on that, because he's going to get another one. Touchdown, Utes. 20-7. And it's 20 unanswered scores for the Utah Utes. This is definitely one of the best teams, and we've had, I mean, 3 national championship teams before, and even really good teams that didn't go on to win the national championship. I think this is one of the best. Well, that score is very out of date, because we saw the field goal happen at the bottom of the screen. This is definitely one of the best Utah squads I've had in my 17 seasons, for sure. It was hard to top that the team from year 2, the Brandon Cox team. That was one of the most high-powered offense. You don't get a lot of the high-powered throws or big plays with Andrew Cross. He's more of the methodical, almost like an Alex Smith type, you know? Like, he's going to keep you in the game. He's going to methodically move you down the field, but he's not going to do the big flashy throw. Brandon Cox was the opposite. He was like the Patrick Mahomes, the flashy play, the flashy throw. I don't know if we've ever found a quarterback that kind of duplicated Brandon Cox throughout the years. But regardless, here we are, 11-0. Looking to open up 12-0's door if we can keep this going. Give to McKinney, and McKinney gets a first down. Definitely the best defense I've had, and we've had some good defenses over the years, but this has been a very, very solid defense. Out of the gun, Maxwell. He is going to run it, and got tripped up. And he's got almost 1,000 yards rushing, so he's a rushing quarterback, but I haven't noticed any signs of that. We got to put a spy on him. So far in this game, it's been all pocket passing. There's been no signs of a guy that rushed for 1,000 yards. Maybe he's coming off an injury or something. Look at this. He's just staying in the pocket, and down he goes. Quarterback sack. Sacked by James Kelly. So he might be a little roughed up. He might be a little hurt. We got another score update. It's Texas scoring, and that should pretty much seal it at this point. You got to think. Not a whole lot of time left. Maxwell goes down again. Sacked Andrew Fowler. As we were just hyping the defense, saying this is one of the best we've had in 17 seasons. And I was the defensive coordinator of that Florida State defense that won a national championship, which was pretty good. But I didn't recruit any of those guys. I was pretty much just to come in and lead the ship. And we had a very, very terrible first game, a neutral site game with Oklahoma State, where we gave up 2 very deep passes to nearly ruin the season. But we came back, got to the national championship against Marshall. Won it all. So this would be my 5th national championship, with the 4th for the Utah Utes. And Cross is gonna, oh man, get hit. He had an open receiver that he was just lining up to pitch it to. I think we were, well, I know what we were going for. We were trying to take a shot down the field, but it was well covered. We were hoping to hit our guy, Zach Smith, but he was covered up. Cross, he's going to throw it on the move, and it's picked up and caught by Brian Baldwin, the sophomore. So he's a guy that's going to be moving up Remember that name. You don't see a lot of them this year, but with a lot of the guys, the seniors on the team, Zach Smith is a senior. You got Nick Odom, who's a senior. Guys like Brian Baldwin, Jason Newton, Tommy Singleton, who are all sophomores. They're going to be moving up. And Cross putting that one right on the money. Speaking of, that is actually a junior, Jermaine Cox. So maybe he'll stick around for another year. We'll have to see. The NFL always comes a calling for some of these guys, especially when you have a team like a Utah that commands this NFL talent. Colorado, no pushover team, a 9-win team, one of their better years they've had in recent memory. So definitely a team that we got to keep playing heavy against. A lot of the Pac-16 games, the Arizona State kicking off down there. Andrew Cross threw that one maybe a little high, but it wasn't a problem for the sophomore Jason Newton, who I'm ecstatic that we're going to get for at least one more year. 4 unanswered touchdowns for the Utes, and pending this extra point, which is good, compliments of the freshman Travis Richardson. It is 28-7. Utes all over the Colorado Buffaloes. Let's keep this going. Come on. I can smell 12-0. 12-0 is in the air. Back of the end zone, Kenny Brown for the Buffaloes will field it. They'll take a knee. And here's where the next possession will begin for Colorado. Daniel Maxwell, a junior. Perhaps we'll see him next year. Hand off to McKinney. McKinney's had some really nice runs today. Just like that, it's hard to bring him down. McKinney fights guys off left and right. Tennessee put 63 on the board against Kentucky. A rivalry matchup there. Tennessee's another team that is hoping for a slip-up where they can sneak into the college football playoff. A heavy blitz coming in, but Maxwell, nicely done, was able to get rid of that one before he got sacked. But Tennessee's another team that is right there on the verge of, if a USF or a Fresno State slips up, they can get in, and they put 63 on a conference opponent, which, you know, the committee is going to look at that. That's a big score. That was a awkward-looking pass, but brought in nonetheless by Brandon Lewis. Is kind of a lame duck, like a wobbler. Look at this wobbly pass. He must be a little injured. See how that thing just wobbled? But it got in there. Tennessee, you'd have to believe. I mean, they are going to the SEC championship, but a win for them would put them in the Sugar Bowl. And again, a return to grace for Tennessee football, which even in this 19 seasons, they haven't really been there, but they had a nice run. I think they're in the Cotton Bowl, I think we said last season, right? And then they're going on their run this season. So Miami, Ohio, you see them getting beat by Eastern Michigan. They are not going to have a repeat of their great undefeated run from last season, where they finished as the only undefeated team in the regular season, and the committee gave them the #1 seed, which I personally maybe would have done what they didn't realize, switched it up and put them at the 4 seed. But the game had them ranked 1. I was like, you know what? If the game ranks them 1, we'll keep them at 1. We'll give them a shot. And they got beat up bad by Oklahoma. The jailbreak screen did not work out at all. James Kelly with another sack, and poor Maxwell just had to hang on to the football. And he took that one. And in fact, we're going to call a timeout with 43 seconds to go on a 4th and 28. I was not expecting. I was expecting this to be a lot more competitive than it was, considering how good Colorado has been this season. But we're #1, and we actually kept, if we win out now, it's still a 3-touchdown game. But up until this point, we have kept this #1 ranking all season long. Can you believe that? I was shocked when they voted us #1, considering how last season turned out. But we proved it. We kept our #1 ranking all the way to the final game of the season. Hopefully into the college football playoff as well. Andrew Cross had Perry, but he underthrew it a little bit. And there you go. Texas will finish the season undefeated, 12-0 at number 2. They are in the Big 12 championship, and barring a blowout loss to us, you would have to believe that they are also going to stamp their ticket to the college football playoffs. Zach Smith making the catch, 56 yards. He's got 157 here on senior night, the Zach Smith. Unbelievable. And the Utes are right there. 24 seconds. Cross to Smith. He's going to get tackled shy of the end zone, so we use our last timeout. They're going to go hurry up here. I don't know, saving this timeout. Hey. Touchdown, Zach Smith. We made it, and we kept the timeout. We didn't need it. But what a first half for Cross and Smith. That's a guy I'm going to miss, Zach Smith. 35 unanswered for the Utes. And it is shaping up for a 12-0 versus 12-0 conference championship. Number 1 versus number 2. A combined 24-0 battling it out in the conference championship game. An unbelievable run, and the potential for 3 major games ahead of us. I mean, we're going to have to deal with a 12-0 team. Then we're going to have to deal with a college football team, the college football playoff team that is most likely going to be undefeated. It's either going to be an undefeated Fresno or an undefeated USF. We're going to have to deal with that. And then in the national championship, we could potentially be facing 3 12-0 teams, 3 undefeated teams to win a national championship. What a tough run that would be, but we just got to take it one game at a time. That might solidify us as one of the greatest teams in college football history. We're going to go back one of these days in our old age and watch the streams from the TCU game and sit there and wonder, boy, how did we almost lose to that team? But every great team always has that game where they slip up, right? There's always one game on the schedule where it's like, oh man, Fresno, let's hold our horses there. Fresno State only has a 1-point lead over San Diego State. So their undefeated season is on the line. And their possible return to competing for a national championship. They were in the national title game a couple years ago, which you can see who they played over on Patreon. Just go on Patreon, subscribe for as little. You can be the historian and subscribe for as little as $5. And you search Utah Stat Book, and that'll come right up. Maxwell, incomplete. Hurd drops it. That's the kind of thing that'll frustrate you as a fan, as a teammate, when you're trying to scratch and claw your way back into a game that you're losing. And someone just flat out drops an easy pass. That's the biggest deflating play that you will see. Newton will return that one up to midfield. Game track. Let's look at these highlights here. Zach Smith, even taking the big hits. Well covered, down the field, touchdown catches. He's been the man today. 167. He had his first touchdown at the end of the first half there. And Fresno State gets another score, so they'll go up by 8 on San Diego State. Bill Bradford can get much on the ground there. Isaac Townsend making the tackle. Second down and 9 for the Utes. Man, I hope the college football game that we're getting. Cross. Oh my goodness. It's out of nowhere. Washington peeled off of his route. Cross took a shot down the field. And Washington, I think he was looking for Jermaine Cox. And Pedro Washington, who was covering Smith, peeled off and got the interception. So first mistake of the day for Andrew Cross. But yeah, I know. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I think some of us are pretty nervous about the new college football game because it has been so long. And this is something people have been asking for years and years, and they're doing it again. It's, what, 8 years between games by the time this one comes out. I just hope it's as fun as this game. Like, people, I think, what they feel about the Madden franchise at this point. Yeah, they just... It worries me. It honestly worries me that they're just taking the Madden staff, which is already seems to be underperforming for years, and now having them make 2 games. And it's like, boy, oh boy. Where this feels like a completely different game from Madden. But anyway, Maxwell. Plenty of time in the pocket. Wide open. Boy, he had 2 receivers wide open, and nobody brought it in. I don't know how that happens. If you're a Colorado Buffalo fan, that'll make you sick. So how do they bounce back from that? There we go. Hurd making up for his drop earlier today. Barry Hurd. Tackle made by a senior, Wes Harper, on the Utah Utes. 127 passing for Maxwell. 6 tackles on the day for Harper. Reception by Tate for 7. In Colorado, I've always said, I said this in the last game, I'll say it here. 35-7 at the half. We scored 35 and a half. They can easily score 35 and a half. You put that together with their 7, that gives them the lead. Oh my God, look at the bottom of the screen. Fresno State and San Diego State are in overtime. So San Diego State down by 8 late, scored a touchdown, got the 2-point conversion, and number 4 in the nation out of the Pac-16 is reeling. Penn State has been defeated. They've been beaten pretty heavily by Indiana. That's going to take them out of the college football playoff run. That might be the only thing that saves Fresno State if they slip up in overtime, is the fact that Penn State lost in that kind of fashion. And that might keep either us or Texas, who loses the Big 12 championship, in the college football playoff discussion, no matter how that game ends up. And of course, you have Tennessee, as we said, watching with big eyes, hoping that they can sneak in. Navy, I think, is right there as well at 10-2, even though they lost to USF. It's going to be harder for them to justify a college football playoff spot unless they win the Big East. I don't know if they would play USF. I don't remember how the Big East is split up. But right there, we got to keep an eye on that game. And poor Kansas, it looks like, if you just saw that score, it looks like Kansas is going to drop to 0-12 on the year. So the Jayhawks, Jayhawk football, about as good as expected. Maxwell keeps it himself into the end zone. A rarity. 2 touchdowns scored on our powerful Utah defense. Only BYU and TCU can say they have scored 2 touchdowns on our defense all year. Let's check out the score update here. And, well, there you see Texas over Houston there. Siegel, 178 on the ground. 3 touchdowns for Campbell. And some more scores here. Air Force knocking off BYU, and, of course, in overtime, 28-20. It says fourth quarter. I don't know why. They're in overtime. So keep those scores a-watching here. Kickoff fielded by Newton. And Newton up past the 30, 24. It's a big drive. It's a 21-point game. We don't want to start resting on our laurels here. Cross. There we go. Nice bounce back for Andrew Cross. as Nick Odom fights for 20 yards in the first down. Kansas has officially finished 0-12. So God bless the Jayhawks there. The handoff to Bradford for 6. 200 yards more than Colorado. It's a closer game than I think those yards would indicate. So Fresno is going to strike in the overtime period with a field goal. But is that first overtime or is that the game winner? It looks like that might be first overtime. So a touchdown by San Diego State would knock off undefeated Fresno State. So keep an eye on that score at the bottom of your screen. We are score watching, folks. Bradford. I hope that's something they keep going. They keep doing in the new college football game. The score watching. Uh-oh. Final alert. Here it is. And Fresno State has survived. They finish undefeated. And they will be going to the Pac-16 championship. So we know, barring a collapse from us, going into conference championship weekend, we will have 4 undefeated teams. We can finish with at least 3 undefeated teams. Texas will play Utah, and Fresno and USF could win out and finish 13-0, which would clinch their spots. USF in the Big East would be the 3rd time the Big East sent someone to the college football playoff, joining Navy and Army over the past 2 seasons. It would be the first time that the Pac-16 would be sending a team into the college football playoff if Fresno wins out. And it looks like the ACC for the first year might be blanked as they sent Georgia Tech and Miami the first 2 seasons. And the Big Ten hoping they can get in, but with that loss by Penn State, I don't know. And the SEC also hoping for their first ever bid. You know how things go in real life with that conference. It's kind of weird to think or to even hear the fact that we're saying we're entering year 3 of the college football playoff. And Tennessee's hoping they can get into the college football playoff. They're at 10-2 right now. And the SEC has yet to send a single team to the college football playoff. So it's getting exciting, folks. It's heating up. This is the time. Follow along YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Subscribe, follow. First and goal. Price not going to get in. Get Bradford in there. I want to get Bradford another score.
That brings up 2nd and goal.
The offensive lineman could just fall forward if he wanted to. Price, no, not going to get in. 3rd and goal for the Utes. Bradford must be gassed. We got to get him out there. Price actually lost a little bit of yardage. Is that Bradford? Yes, Bradford back in the game. The handoff, the touchdown. Bill Bradford does it again. And it's going to be 42-14 for the Utes. I can't remember, does Madden do where like you see the scores in real time? They definitely don't do this, which I wish they would. It would be really cool if they did. But there you go, Fresno. That was a bad San Diego State team too. But Fresno State will finish undefeated. And now we just got to wind this clock down. Take the win and prepare to go to Jerry's World, which is almost going to feel like a road game. I mean, it's in Texas. Arlington, AT&T Stadium. It'll be our 2nd time playing the Longhorns in the Big 12 championship game. Oh my God, what happened there? That looked like a fumble, right? It's like Maxwell got hit. He lost the football. give to McKinney. McKinney's going to hurdle, and Harper can't make the tackle. Come on, Harper.
That's a gain of 5 on the play. That'll make
Wes
it
Harper, who's made like 7 or 8 tackles today. All right, this would be nice to get a stop right here. Get the ball back and continue to wind more clock. Another terrible pass by Maxwell. We've seen our fair share of those types of passes from our opposing quarterbacks. I don't know if our defense is intimidating them or what. Well, it'd be a joy if we can do this next week against Texas. I have a feeling that's going to be a highly competitive battle. But, I mean, we went through this Big 12 schedule with some solid opponents. You know, Nebraska's and TCU and BYU and, you know, Missouri, who came in with a good record, and we put them all down, man. Just laid them all away. Pistol formation, the give to Bradford, and let's go into clock running mode now. At this point, we got a big enough lead. We're not going to completely play conservative yet, but we're definitely in a spot where we can start to drain this one down. Another first down. That'll take us to the end of the third quarter. It's going all Utah. Colorado struck early, but from there on out, it's been defense and solid offense by the Utah Utes. 42-14, number 1 in the nation, hoping to be the 4th undefeated team to head into conference championship weekend. When this game is over, we're going to look at the conference championship games. We're going to do another bowl projection. We're going to see where should SMU end up. Maybe SMU ends up in the Cotton Bowl, because you know, college football playoff this year is going to be the Fiesta Bowl, and it's going to be the Peach Bowl. So for a TCU, you know, maybe the Cotton Bowl is open for them. Who would their opponent be? Who would be a good matchup for did I say TCU? SMU. SMU, not if I said TCU, I'm mistaken. It's SMU, who's going to finish the season at 10-2, ranked. So they're probably going to be ranked in the top 15 when it's all said and done, and they will be your group of 4 that will end up getting the automatic bid. That one could not have been thrown any tighter by Andrew Cross for the first down to Jermaine Cox, who we're hoping will come back for one more year. Boy, there was little room for error there for Cross. There's Nick Howell, who's been quiet. He had the early forced fumble, but ever since then, there has been nothing out of Howell. That's 7 tackles, yeah, but when have we called his name doing anything impactful out there? He's the senior. Wearing number 1. He's got the big number. Cross to Cox, who's going to fall backwards out of bounds. And Utah's continuing to roll, man. Throwing the ball a little bit here, trying not to burn out Bill Bradford too much. I mean, other than that interception, it's been a pretty solid day for Andrew Cross. A good sophomore year. We saw some of the issues that plagued him his freshman year creep up sophomore year, but overall, I'd say he played a much more well-balanced type of offense here. Last year, it was going to the Fiesta Bowl to play Ohio State, where we came away with the big win. This year, we might be going back to the Fiesta Bowl, but it would be as part of the college football playoff. Perfect 5 for 5 on third down conversions. Make it 6 of 6. And now it's a 1st and goal. We can punch this one in for real and really put this one out of reach. Let's get Bradford one more score. I'll check. Someone remind me in the chat to check. I'm gonna check after this game the NCAA rushing record because he might get it with 3 games left. They count all the postseason games as part of the stats for college football. And oh, that was a bad hit by Bradford. He got hit hard. 28 carries for Bill Bradford. And he is in the end zone easily on that one. Touchdown, Utes. 156 rushing on the ground today. I believe that's 4 rushing touchdowns for Bradford. 7-minute drive. The freshman puts it through. No problem on this rivalry. We said we would read some of the scores. Look at that, 466 to 195. And I'm not playing, I promise. I'm not playing. I'll even show you. Even though I'm not one of those guys that gets into the difficulty fight with everyone. But I always play right in the middle. And I'm always playing right in the middle. You see All-American right there, which is right in the middle. Between, like, Heisman, I think, is the top. There's Heisman, freshman, All-Americans right in the middle. Would you guys, I'm going to go on Patreon. I'm going to let the computer kind of do some of this. I'm going to read the past scores from the Utah-Colorado rivalry here. So let's see. Compliments of Patreon. All these scores are up there. So season 3, we beat Colorado 24 to 13. There's some missing scores on here. I didn't get all of them jotted down. Season 6 beat Colorado 52 to 14. We usually have Colorado's number. Season 8, we lost to Colorado. In fact, that we had 1 loss heading into the final 2 games of the season, and then we lost to Fresno at Fresno. This is when we were in the Pac-14, and then we lost to Colorado 34 to 24. We beat Colorado season 10 in overtime, 34-37. That was the infamous season, at least for us, as Maxwell is going to get the sack, where we were undefeated. We lost to Arizona, and we ended up going to the Rose Bowl and beating Army. We pretty much cruised through that season, had a great season, but slipped up to Arizona. In fact, we started slow. We played at Hawaii, only won by 2 points. And then we kind of let the defense do our thing. We had some scores like 18 to 11 and 15 to 8. Kind of just played tight down the stretch. The next season beat Colorado 38-0. That was part of a 1-loss season where we lost to Alabama early on. Then we got beat in the Pac-14 championship. And then we beat Colorado the next season, our national championship season, 31 to 20. Beat Colorado 25-0, season 13. Season 14, we beat Colorado 42 to 10. In season 15, beat Colorado 45 to 31. In season 16, beat Colorado 50 to 10. So we've kind of owned this series, barring a couple close games here or there. In season 17, beat Colorado 42-0. Goodness gracious. And last season, we beat Colorado 23-7. So we only had 1 loss to Colorado. We had the overtime and the 1 loss. There's probably a couple of other losses to Colorado that I didn't get written down. This is going to be the final play of the game. It's going to be Bill Bradford taking us home, and the Utah Utes will join Texas, USF, and Fresno State. The Utes, the Longhorns, the Bulls, and the Bulldogs will finish the regular season a perfect 12-0, and we'll have to wait and see how the college football conference championship weekend will shape up. It should be exciting. Disappointing Colorado fans that made the trip. Maxwell very disappointed and let down.
Thank you for attending today's ball game. Please drive home safely.
Please travel safely. We're talking about Tennessee's resurgence a little bit ago, looking on Patreon here. Tennessee played Texas in the Cotton Bowl and beat them 19-17 2 seasons ago. Miami, Ohio played Miami in the Peach Bowl. Lost that game 38-21. Miami, Ohio, the representative of the group of 6 or group of 4 back then. And then last season, Tennessee beat Florida International in the Peach Bowl. And then your group of 6 representatives, Miami, Ohio, losing to Oklahoma 45-14. Florida lost to Northwestern in the Sugar Bowl, and USC beat Minnesota in the Rose Bowl. And again, all of the teams that have made the college football playoff, there's only been one 2-loss team in history, and that was Wisconsin. So there's a precedent for it, but it could easily not happen if you're a Penn State or you're a Tennessee hoping to sneak in to the big dance at the end of the season. So let's save some photos here. Let's look at the upcoming. This game went kind of quick. It's only an hour stream, but, that's all we're going to do today because we're not doing the entire. We are not going to do the Texas game tonight. Maybe tomorrow. It depends on, it's AEW night. Sometimes I stream during AEW night, but we'll see. It's either going to be tomorrow or it will be Thursday. But by this weekend, we'll be done with it. And then we're going to head back to baseball. We're going to finish up the Diamondbacks season as we're getting close to the playoffs there. And then you guys have to tell me next. We'll probably go back to playing some Broncos football and try to get the Red Wings season completed. Let me know what you guys want to see. Arena football is going to be on the docket coming up. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of excitement. It shows one score. That's all right. All right. We got a bye week. We head to the conference championship. So let's see how this one shapes up. It's going to be big business. It's going to be good. 12-0 versus 12-0 for the Big 12 championship. Can you believe that? When are we going to get that in real life? That would be the game. So we'll wait for it to simulate. We'll keep looking at some of the things on Patreon here. Some more big scores. I can read conference records from last season. SMU won Conference USA last season. 9-4. They're going to be the group of 4 representative this season. The year before that, ULM won Conference USA. That's 7-6. Not a very good record. First college football playoff, Army, Utah, Georgia Tech, and Wisconsin. The second college football playoff, Miami, Ohio, Navy, Miami, and Oklahoma. Of course, again, all of that is on Patreon. You can see the scores. Our non-conference slate, I'm looking at it here, written down. We have one more road game with Utah State. We got a home and away with South Alabama, and we got an away game with Arkansas. After that, we'll have to schedule some more home and homes, won't we? Want to see the college football playoff scores for the first college football playoff? Georgia Tech beat Wisconsin 31-14. We had Army beat Utah, us, 31-20. And in the national championship, Georgia beat Army 55-24. It was 14-0 against 14-0. The ACC against the Big East. or I have written down the AAC, but we renamed them the Big East because I hate the AAC. I think it's a terrible name for a conference. Last season's national championship was exciting. Oklahoma beat Navy 31-28. So we didn't land any big recruits after that performance against Colorado. So we'll have to let that one slide. But let's take a look at what we got coming up. Because it's going to be big. Some huge games on the horizon. College football playoff implications, where what happens if it's a close game? Do both teams get into the college football playoff? This precedent has never been set where two teams in the top 4 are competing before the college football playoff. How will the committee handle it? Kurt Herbstreit's putting all his money on us. But you look at the numbers. I mean, it's the number 1 ranked offense against the number 2 ranked offense. Number 2 in total offense. Number 3 in total defense. We're number 1 in total defense. Number 2 in pass defense. Number 8 for us. Pass defense. I mean, total defense 1 and 3. Turnover differential 1 and 4. You can't be more evenly matched, it looks like, than us. It looks like the part where they got us beat is the total offense and rushing offense. We got them beat, though. Our passing game much stronger than theirs. I think they have a Heisman candidate running back. They have a 2,000-yard or a 1,000-yard rushing running back, much like we do. Quarterback Campbell looking solid. 2,000 yards passing, 28 touchdowns, just 5 picks. We got 24 touchdowns, 3,000 yards passing. Bill Bradford, he's comparable, though, with Siegel. Look at that. I mean, he's even got a couple more yards than Siegel. He's got 28. We got to look. We said we were going to look. What's the NCAA record for rushing touchdowns in a single season? Because I think Mr. Bradford might be close to that. I don't want season stats. I want records here. We want stats and records. School records, NCAA records. That's what we want. Hey, you can see some of our old records. We got, look at Brandon Cox. Remember I said he was a flashy passer? Well, there he is right there. The record holder, the 96-yard passing touchdown. And got a bunch of other stats there for individual game. Look for team game. Those records still standing. Individual season, Brandon Cox, 65 passing touchdowns. That was that national championship year. Look at 35 sacks. That's ridiculous. So we got a couple records in the record book. 79 sacks there for total in a career. Coaching career, we got to get some of these Joe Paterno records and Bobby Bowden records. Maybe soon we'll be creeping up there. Who knows? Let's go to... This is just for the school. We'll go back to the school, but we wanted individual season rushing touchdowns is 37. That's Barry Sanders, right? 1988 Oklahoma State. So I don't think we're going to get to Barry Sanders. We'd have to, I don't know. There's still a chance if we get 4 a game, we could break Barry's record. We're in the high 20s, aren't we? Like 28, 29. So we got 3 games left. We'll see. Let's look at our school records here. I mean, Brandon Cox, that second season, as we said, he rewrote the record book. 8 passing touchdowns in the game, 65 in a season. He finished with 103. John Young, who was the follow-up to Brandon Cox, played all 4 years, finished with over 10,000 passing yards. He had a 658 game, and Brandon Cox went for 5,589 in a season. Let's go to defense, and we had McCray with 9 interceptions, White with the 79 sacks. We had Gray that had 6 sacks in a game, and Jones with 35 in a season, which is ridiculous. And Kevin Hayes, who came and won our second Heisman. Brandon Cox and Kevin Hayes are 2 Heisman winners. So there you see, and actually one of Hayes' records fell, and that was this season at the hands of Bill Bradford. But Hayes had all the records, man. He had 54 touchdowns in a career 6 in one game. He rushed for 4,266. He had 283 in a game and had 1,871 in a season. And for receiving, it was a lot of those Brandon Cox seasons. Hatfield here with the 323 game. He also had 1,500 yards there. So just some of the records, and you can see where we stand. Let's look at well, let's see, how far away is Bill Bradford from the Barry Sanders? So he's at 28. So we'd have to get 9 more touchdowns to tie the record, 10 to break it. Let's see if it could be done. I mean, we're getting a lot of, how's our job security these days? The folks that are on the hot seat there. Steve Sarkisian. 100%, so we're still doing good. Hugh Freeze. We had David Shaw, Bo Pelini, Brian Stewart, Ryan Swan, Matt Campbell, Barrett Campbell, Neil Nether Regions, what? And Josh Musa. Yeah, he might be done in 1 year, it looked like, but he might be out already. All right, let's see. What are we? Let's round it out by coming over here. We didn't have really any big upsets. We got close, but let's look at Conference Championship weekend. So these are going to be the big games that will decide the Final Four. So this is the one that a lot of folks are going to be watching. I would think everyone will be watching. Number 1 versus number 2 coming early. 12-0 versus 12-0. How ridiculous is that? Army and USF. So I don't know. If Army wins, I don't think they get into the college football playoff. They would be 10-3. No 3-loss team has ever made the playoff. USF, obviously, they win, and they're in. Ole Miss and Tennessee. If Tennessee wins and USF slips or Fresno slips, that possibly could open the door for Tennessee, also depending on how big a blowout Texas and Utah ends up being. Tennessee might be able to get in with a win. We have Oregon State, Fresno State, same thing. Fresno, they got to win out to get in. Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, there's a team that we haven't really talked about that's quiet, but Virginia Tech could finish 11-2 and maybe get in. And Iowa and Indiana, I think, would be your next best option at getting into the college football playoff, because there's not a whole lot of options here. If, basically, we're going to guarantee to have a one-loss team here. We could have a one-loss team, and we could have a one-loss team here. So it's a matter of, one-loss teams that don't make it, or big blowout here. I think if this game ends up being a blowout and it's an absolute demolishing, then I think whoever wins the Iowa-Indiana game would maybe get into the college football playoff. If it's a tight game, if it's really close, I think both teams get in. I think if USF and Fresno don't win their respective conference championships, I think they fall out of it, losing to a 9-3 team, which isn't, a 9-3 team is still good, but I think that would knock them out of the college football playoff, and that would put either Iowa or Indiana win as a conference winner. Because I don't know, can you put a one-loss non-conference champion in? Who knows? Tennessee also has an outside chance. If USF and Fresno fall apart, does Tennessee and either Iowa or Indiana get in? Do you put a one-loss Texas or Utah team in without winning their conference championship over a Fresno or USF if they both lose out? And then it's all crazy. The committee's going to have a hard time thinking about this one. They're going to have to figure it out. Let's see. Do we have any other possible non-conference teams that could sneak in based on other teams losing? There's not any other 2-loss teams there. So we'll look at the Big East. Navy is an interesting case. So if Army beats USF, maybe you make a case for Navy at 10-2, but Navy also has a loss to USF on their schedule, but they have 2 really good losses, so that one could be an interesting discussion. Big 12, Oklahoma, they're there at 9-3, but I don't think it's gonna happen for them. Big 10, Indiana and Iowa. Penn State is right there, which they're not going to the conference championship. They look like they just missed out. They'd be in the East here, and they actually finished in 3rd place because that loss to Indiana actually knocked them out of the championship game for the Big Ten. They were undefeated, man, all the way up until the end. So maybe if Indiana loses You maybe get Penn State and Iowa in there, depending on how things shape up, possibly. Here, SMU, they actually finished 11-1. I had quoted them as being 10-2 earlier, so I undersold them. I don't think there's any other group of 14 that's better than that. Miami, Ohio was 10-2 the year they went to their group of 4 bowl game, and they were undefeated last season. So SMU at 11-1 and an impressive record. So they'll get to, I would think, the Cotton Bowl. But we'll see. In fact, oh my God, I can't believe it. Their only loss, SMU, for 11-1 for all these wins they have. They beat Kentucky. They beat TCU, who, God, 10-2. It's amazing we struggled against them. Boy, they had a pretty weak schedule. I'm not gonna lie. There's 2 teams with a winning record on here that they beat. Pretty weak schedule, but they beat, a Big Ten team right there. They beat a Big 12 team. They've been SEC teams. They scheduled from the big conferences. Amazing. Their one loss was to an FCS school. But 11-1, there's nobody else. Notre Dame 9-3. They're not gonna do it. No one from the MAC. You got 9-3 right there. Mountain West is 8-4. So we can actually crown some champions right now. We know that SMU is going to be champions of Conference USA. Temple, champions of the MAC. And Utah State, who we creamed in week 1 and who we're going to see next season, they win the Mountain West. And the Sun Belt champions are Florida Atlantic at 4-2. So let's see here from the Pac-12. No one there. Fresno slips. I don't think anyone from the Pac-12 is getting into this thing. And finally, the SEC. Your lone chance is Tennessee. So I think your teams that are still alive, of course, you have Utah, Texas, USF, and Fresno State, who control their own destiny. Teams that have a chance to get in, that are on the bubble: Tennessee, Indiana, Iowa, Penn State, Navy, Virginia Tech. That's it, folks. So let's look at the Heisman race. Let's look at the bowl projections. And let's get out of here. Bill Bradford still leading the way here. You got Johnson from Tennessee, Prater from Ohio State, Goff from Clemson, and Baker out of Fresno State. So they love Bradford. I never would have guessed this season Bradford would be a Heisman candidate. He had a good year. I wouldn't say he had a great year. He definitely didn't have a year like Brandon Cox or Hayes. All right, rankings. We know what they're kind of going to look like here. We're number 1, Texas number 2, USF 3, and Fresno State 4. And then right on the outside, looking for a possible college football playoff bid, Iowa, Tennessee, Navy, Penn State, and Indiana. Those 5 hanging on the edge and holding out hope that they can get in. Doesn't SMU maybe get into a college football playoff? That's something to discuss. They don't have a conference championship. We didn't talk about them at all. We were just ready to stick them in the Cotton Bowl. But if we blow out Texas, if Texas blows out us, if USF falls, if Fresno falls, what happens if that all plays out? Then you have 1 undefeated team. You have 3 one-loss teams that don't have a conference championship. I would almost say that guarantees, if that scenario happens, that Iowa or Indiana get in, depending on who wins there. If Tennessee wins the SEC, I would think they would get in. And then that would leave one final spot. And, man, that might be a SMU. If one of these 2 teams gets blown out and both of these teams lose, then I would think it would be either Utah, Texas, either Iowa or Indiana, whoever wins that game. I would think Tennessee, if Tennessee wins. And then after that, when you think about conference champions, man, we said they had a weak schedule, but SMU. But after that, you got to start thinking about teams that didn't go to a conference championship. Then you really have to consider. Man, it's going to be tough depending on how this plays out. Again, we got Penn State sitting there. We got Virginia Tech sitting there. Going to be interesting. You're not going to want to miss the next time we stream. I'm just going to say that. You are not going to want to miss it. We'll wrap it up with bowl projections here. So we ended up getting an extra 20 minutes just by going over this stuff. Playing like ESPN, going through everything. Michigan and the New Mexico Bowl. The mighty F-ball. And Auburn and Pitt. SEC versus ACC on the blue turf. How about that? Colorado State and West Virginia Cal. North Texas. FAU going to the New Orleans Bowl. Vegas, San Jose State, and Utah State. Texas State and USC. And the Hawaii Bowl, Wisconsin and Western Michigan. That'd be a good kind of, close state battle in Detroit. Stanford and Florida State. Holiday Bowl. That's actually, I was going to say that's a Colorado. That's part of our conference now. So that'd be a Pac-16 versus Big. Should we call them the Big 16? Traditionally, we just call them the Big 12, but Clemson and Washington, that's kind of a weak matchup. We have the power to change that with the mod that we're going to be doing. So Georgia Tech, Maryland, Northwestern, Air Force, that's another weak game. I would maybe switch Air Force out if this all plays out how it does. I have the power, and I would switch Air Force out with Washington and do Clemson, Northwestern, and Air Force, Washington. But we'll see how everything ends up and plays out. That's a solid game right there. Another solid game. Also a decent game. A good one, FIU. And so that one will be SMU going to the Sugar Bowl. Or probably the Cotton Bowl, rather. So that'd be Alabama looking for a new opponent. This one would be the college football playoff. So Virginia Tech and Florida would have to go somewhere else. Michigan State and Houston. A weak Houston team. If you lose 87-0, I don't think you get to go to a bowl game. Gator Bowl, Mississippi State and Penn State. Indiana, South Carolina. They're hoping they have college football playoff dreams instead. Outback Bowl, Ohio State and Ole Miss. Iowa and Tennessee in the Rose Bowl, which would be a very, very good game if the college football playoff stands as is and all the teams that are undefeated continue to win out. USF and Fresno projected for that Fiesta Bowl, but we know that they would be part of the college football playoff. Notre Dame and Miami in the Sugar Bowl would be good. So I think the Sugar Bowl would probably stand as is. The Rose Bowl would stand as is if everything plays out how it should. Fresno and USF would be in the college football playoff. The Cotton Bowl, that would be Oklahoma and SMU, and that would be a good little Texas versus Oklahoma game in the Cotton Bowl. That would definitely be that matchup right there. And a big challenge for SMU as Oklahoma won the national championship last season. So those would be your big bowl games. So if everything plays out how it should on conference championship weekend, it would be the Chick-fil-A Bowl, which would be, let's just say we win for the sake of argument. We win and we beat Texas and it's a close game. So that would mean it would be us, Utah, taking on Fresno State in the Fiesta Bowl. And then the Peach Bowl would be USF and Texas. And then you would have the Rose Bowl being Iowa and Tennessee. The Sugar Bowl being Notre Dame and Miami. And the Orange Bowl, actually, I think I overlooked the Orange Bowl. Navy and Minnesota, which would be a solid Orange Bowl. And then the Cotton Bowl being SMU and Oklahoma. But where's our other top ranked teams? We got to give them some love too. So there's 5 and 8, 3 and 4, 6 and 7, 9 is there. So the teams that are kind of getting robbed a little bit because Oklahoma is ranked 19th. There's Penn State. Maybe I don't know. I'd almost maybe put as attractive as Oklahoma SMU would be as far as a Oklahoma-Texas rivalry. I would think Penn State, if they win the Big Ten, or they wouldn't win the Big Ten because they're not in it. Man, I would almost think that Penn State would probably maybe should go to the Cotton Bowl instead and play SMU based on their 10-2 record. So that could obviously change right there. Virginia Tech could maybe get a bigger and better bowl game. And where was our other? We had another. There's number 10 right there, Northwestern. And we have a 9 ranked team somewhere. Where's number 9? Or are they already down there? See, I can do all this on the... I don't know if I can stream the mod. I might be able to. I think I can project the... Because I was going to do it on my desktop, but maybe I can do it on my laptop, and I can just project the desktop and let you guys look in or take it. I don't know if I can talk through my thought process, or I might need to focus, and we just recap it after the fact and figure it out. Oh, there's number 9 right there. So... I mean, everyone's pretty much accounted for except for 11 right there. And so we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But that's going to do it for today. Boy, I'm hyped. I kind of want to play this Texas game right now. But having just come off a big win, hour and a half, I need to take a breather. There's a good chance, I don't know yet if I'm going to stream tomorrow or Thursday. But I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to wait to see the end result of this game. So there's a good chance. I get off work at 7 p.m. tomorrow. So there's a good chance if you keep an eye out around 8, 9, 10 at night, 10 p.m. or so, 9, 10 p.m., I'm maybe jumping on to stream this Big 12 championship 12-0 against 12-0. Then we'll do the mod off air. We'll give you all the bowls and all that fun stuff, and we'll be off to the races here. So thanks for joining us for this stream. Hope you enjoyed it. What a season it's been, but we're getting down to the postseason. AT&T Stadium, number 1 versus number 2, 12-0 versus 12-0 for the Big 12 championship. We'll see you guys next time.